one.
Oh, there we go. Oh, shit. It is time for Murder Moose, Rod. You know why? Because we're here again. Episode 103. We're pearling it up with our guest. Hey, I think there's a record here now. Record holder guest. Kintinue is back again. We're doing Pearl, so we had to get... We had to have our Pearl Kintinue back.
Yes, this is my new thing. There is actually something I want to say about that later. Don't let me forget. Okay.
So it's funny because then next week, KPP's returning to talk about The Fly. So then we'll be like, there'll be the battle of the guest stars, like, and it'll just be like, yeah.
See how much shade we can throw each other's. No, they love each other. Come on.
He loves everyone. What are we talking about? And so does Kim. So.
She's fabulous.
I love her. We're finally doing a non-shark movie with her, and so it'll be.
And I'm gonna fucking hate it.
Is it the original Fly?
No,
the one from the '80s with Goldblum. She's never seen it. Yeah, not the one from the '50s. I've never seen that one, but yeah.
I love sharks.
I do too.
All the movies suck, but I still love Sharks.
Sharks was pretty entertaining.
That was that was how we started it. All right. By the way, I'm Josh WRB. Right below me, Rod Johnston. We're part of the Slash and Cast podcast network. It's in the game. Okay, we got all that.
And Kintinue here, obviously.
Yeah, I opened with that. Come on.
I know. I'm just adding on to it. But yes, we're back, and we're talking about Pearl, which just came out, and is it's funny, we're 2 weeks in a row with like horror movies coming out and doing pretty decently in the box office. I read that like this made like $3 million, but it cost less than $1 million to make, which makes sense with how like they checked out everything, and then like they did X and like they did.
We
X
are
and then
so spoiled this year with horror movies, man. Like the list just keeps going on and on and on, and we're getting more before the year's end as well because it's spooky season right now. So I'm into it, man. And like Barbarian, great to hear. Yeah, and the trailers that played before this, right?
Yeah, there's a lot, man. I know. It's funny. It seems like all the more casual horror fans are all real. Like they see that Smile trailer and they're like, oh my god, and like this could be really good, or I think it looks like it actually might be really bad because one, it looks like it looks
amazing.
It looks like The Ring just made with like the creepy smile.
And my like I don't know what like Creepy Duck has 2 limited edition like actual posters that were commissioned by the movie. Like if you go and see them at certain theaters or something, they're giving away his limited edition posters.
He was talking about pins or something like that, wasn't he? Was it pins? I don't know. He was talking about giving away something. But yeah, that Smile's coming out. We have Hellraiser coming out. We got the reboot. We got the dinner one, which with Ray Fiennes and
Uninvited or the Invited.
No, it's like Guest something, I think is what it's called. It's like where they're all like at some fancy feast, like where Ray Fiennes is like the main chef, and then things start going. It's him and what's her name? The witch chick, and she was just in The Northman. What's her name? Anna Taylor-Joy. She's in it.
I have her tattooed on my arm right here.
Yeah. But you have the best character in The Witch tattooed on you, which will always be Black Phillip. Black Phillip.
Well, so I got them both.
Yeah, I know. That movie looks, I don't know what to think about it, but like the cast is really, really good. So I don't know. That looks really intriguing. We have I don't know what else. The Smile is the other one. Obviously Halloween Ends is next month.
Well, and there's that Guillermo del Toro Netflix shit that's coming out too, and there's some stuff. And Flanagan stuff is coming out by the end of the year. Yes, very excited about that. What is his stuff that's coming out? Is it more shows?
It's more Netflix shows. Yeah, it's a Midnight Club is next, I think, right? I think it's the next one.
Either Midnight Club or, I mean, The Fall of the House of Usher is dropping pretty soon, but Midnight Club or Midnight Society, either one. It's Midnight Club. It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be May.
It's gonna be. It's not gonna be May. It's gonna be October. Josh, liar.
It's
Liar.
gonna be October.
I mean, yeah. So how the fuck are you guys though? I mean, we've been like going around. Everything going. I know Josh had a pretty good week last week and has had a lot. Is a very very busy bee, and
I feel like honestly, there a lot of I don't know. Like it's just weird how like life has a way of just like doing. I don't know. If you put in the work, things will work out for you as well. Like stick to your guns and get the work done. But then like as things are turning around in my life, then everything else is getting busier as well. Like more things are opening up and more doors are opening up and it's all coming at once. And there's like this flood of like, can you handle more and more and more, which is awesome. And I can, and it's getting me out of the house and it's keeping me busy. Like the YYC Music Awards last night, doing all the videography work. And like, that's just fun seeing, wow, there's like so much talented musicians. And I didn't know half of these people were even in my city. And now to see like the insane music videos that were produced for them and stuff. And I'm just like, this is local? Like you guys are from here? Like what the fuck? That's crazy. And yeah, it was just like this massive event and it was really cool.
Anyone we would have heard of? Anything bigger?
I don't know, man. I was behind 3 different cameras at once, running around. I don't even remember any of their names. I'll have to look it up because I was like, there's like certain moments throughout the night where like I'm looking at the back of a screen and I like all of a sudden like come to and like look around and
all of a sudden you come. I mean, Josh, that's a little
no, but like I'm worried about the technical side and making the image look good, and if this audio's all the like technical things of being like a videographer, and then I'm like, as I have it all set up and stuff, I like look and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm kind of just like in the zone, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm filming the mayor right now, right in her face, and there's a crowd behind me looking at my ass because I don't give a fuck who I'm standing in front of. I got to get the good shot, right? So I'm like, oh shit, like what's going on, right? Good.
I mean, we're looking at your ass, Josh, is why the people are there. They just want to see your ass. They're like, Josh, we must see your ass. It's okay.
It's so cool what you do, Josh. Like every time you talk about different things that you do, I'm like, this is so cool. Like I want to do this.
That's just neat. That's my side job.
Yeah.
It's his side hustle. His hustle. His money don't jiggle. It folds.
It folds.
Dude, I saw some combination of that song with someone sent it to me on Instagram. It was that combined with the Corn Kid.
I saw that too.
And I'm like, this is just like summer of 22 and like just one short little silly stupid video. And I'm like, it's just always amazing how like the internet like just attaches to certain things, and I'm like, this is the world. This is truly the world. So Ken is running around like a mad woman, and as always, and busy, and went and saw Pearl with a bunch of old ladies earlier today. It actually, when you're talking about it, it just made me think of when my wife drugged me to see Magic Mike, and we went on it was like a theater.
Magic Mike was a good fucking movie, man.
Shut up! I'm not saying it wasn't. My point is,
shut up.
We went on a Sunday for $5 movies, and it was literally, I think the entire theater was full, and there were 3 guys in the entire theater, including me. Like it was like just middle-aged and older ladies, just like mostly just came in to like drool over Channing Tatum, and I'm like, I understand. I mean, he's a good-looking man, but I'm like, there's a lot of women in this place. So
drool over his taintum.
I don't think you saw his taint in the film, Josh.
I don't know. Maybe I went to a different movie, but it was still good.
I'm sure there was a porn version of that one. So.
I'm sure there's like 1,000 of them.
I love Channing Tatum in Free Guy because he does a lot of his moves, but he does it.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
I thought that movie was hokey, but it was also entertaining as shit.
I loved Free Guy, man. It knew what it was, and it did it all very well.
Yeah. So anything else exciting, Ken, besides like running around like the mad woman you are? I know you're doing a lot with house stuff, and I know you're talking about filling up dumpsters, which we've done and is never fun. But
Yeah,
I-
we have like a gazillion things that need to be done, and like we're finally starting on them, and
Yeah.
so that's been really nice and like exciting. And I just want it all done because
Yeah.
I'm gonna pressure wash the shit out of the basement.
because you're moving your streaming setup down there, right?
Yeah, I'm moving like everything down there, like my workout stuff, my stream stuff, my craft stuff, everything. I'm getting it
Yeah.
all down there. So
What kind of crafts do you do?
well, when I have space, I like to paint and I like to draw. I mean, Legos don't really count as crafts, but I build a shitload of Legos, or maybe they do count. I don't know. But there's like a ton of stuff I like to do that I haven't been able to do because I just don't have space. So I can bring out my sewing machine again. Like I might actually get some of these cosplays done. I've been promising for like 3 years.
Do
If
it!
she did she was painting up a Nuka-Cola gun for her Fallout thing. Yeah, and it looks fucking amazingly dope. Someone
So,
3D printed it for her, and she like painted it up, right?
Like it still needs a little bit more like
Whoa!
dirty
Let's see that.
and stuff.
Wait.
But it needs a little bit more
Ooh.
shadowing and stuff. But,
That's dope. So
it's
my
good.
boss at work collects. Well, he's an artist that does like steampunk, like robot type things.
Nice.
And they're really cool. But he's been collecting like all old school like laser guns like that from like back in the day, and they're all up in my office, like in this like shadow box wall that's like lit and everything. Just like
That's cool.
yeah, there's a lot of like cool old robot-y shit at my work.
Yeah.
I like it.
Josh.
Oh wait. Oh
I
yeah.
did say you should probably change that.
I'm
It's
editing.
just awkwardly.
Oh yeah. Hey, I was doing this, and it's just you going. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's just me being like, this is awkward.
Okay. Yeah. Hey.
Only Josh,
That.
put that away. Nobody wants to see that in the screen. Nobody wants to see that, Josh. Nobody. Oh.
But speaking
Man,
of seeing that, no, I'm just kidding.
I mean, hey, I'll go out there. I did start an OnlyFans and it's out there.
I was leading
there's,
that.
there's raw dong on the internet now. There is raw dong on the internet.
Oh wait,
It's
it's clown dick right out there for the world to see.
God damn it, Josh. Why did you have to say clown dick? You son of a bitch.
There
You
better
son of
be
a bitch.
clown dick pictures on there.
Pause
There's
penis all day.
Yeah,
Put a
clown-
little red afro on it and a red nose on it. And
dude,
like,
it's gotta happen. It's gotta happen. You know,
You
how,
could draw like a
you-
sad clown face.
dude. You want the subscriber count to go up? Just paygate the clown dick.
dude, all I can think about now, and this is a side note, and you just remind me of the clown talk. I heard something today that Terrifier 2 is 2.5 hours long, and I'm like,
I've heard
are
it's
you-
amazing.
I don't know, but it's 2.5 hours long. I'm like,
Here, just wait. So what does Kintinue think?
Well, continue. Continue thinks I have not seen the first one.
It's
Yeah, me
Josh,
neither.
Stop it.
No way. No, if I do that, it will force Rod to not talk for 95% of this episode.
But then Ken will run away and never come back. Now, Josh, stop it.
It's so funny because we do this. Well, I do this for a living, but the second it happens, I'm like,
Tuck and roll, hide.
It's
It's not my
different
show.
though. It's different though, because like we're I don't know, like this is the norm, right? And I added these to be hey, okay, yeah, I'm talking, but I also forget they fucking exist. And in order to do it like so it doesn't feel forced, I just hardly put it on myself because it's just I don't know. It doesn't feel normal to have it be done by yourself. So I don't know. You get it. If someone else was doing it, they would just do it and it would be a thing.
Yeah.
But because I'm doing it and I talk with my hands a lot, it's like I would need those. Oh, there's this There's this Twitch streamer. Fuck, what was his name? I totally forget. But he's got like controllers in his hands and like a whole bunch of AI built into his streams, and there's like cameras that follow him as robots, and he can like make it do all. And he's got these remotes that change all the
You're
scenes.
not talking about Squirrel, are you? El Dirty Squirrel?
No, his name's like
He does it.
Sushi Dragon or something.
I
And
know
it's unreal what he's
I've
accomplished.
seen some pretty crazy setups like that, right? And it's amazing. I mean, you see all the VTubers, right?
Yeah,
and all
it's
the
Sushi Dragon.
there.
Check him out. You'll love it.
Yeah.
It's the most ADD shit you'll ever see in your fucking life.
Dude,
Like
I don't know about
10
that.
times more than this show.
Duty, if you know who Duty Beard is, I love the man, and he is like, if we're ADHD squared, he's like ADHD like to the fifth power. That man is like ADHD to like, he's like Ren and Stimpy cartoons like into Twitch form or something like that. That's what he is. I love that man, but he's ADHD as shit. I was gonna say before the cast, I watched.
You were gonna say?
I was trying to find something to like do, but
Right.
I'm gonna be like hiding back here the next time. And
It's
just peek
so
out.
easy to break this show, and I love doing it.
I watched the Glory Hole movie on Shudder, and with the guy
I heard
from,
it was good.
I liked it, and it went.
I watched
like,
the first 15 minutes. Like the setup was good, but I was so ADD that night. I was like, I want to watch this, and I'm
Yeah.
not going to pay attention right now, so I turned it off.
The setup is the worst part of the movie too.
Yeah.
Which is like, but I liked it.
Well,
it was
getting
like
to the vending machine and that lady and seeing the stuff, whatever, that was kind of
Yeah.
cool. But like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes. It kind of reminded me of Swiss Army Man a little bit, where it goes like you kind of get revealed some stuff at the very end of the film that is like makes it a little bit darker than you thought it was gonna be. But
Okay.
it has some stuff in it. But J.K. Simmons is awesome.
I
as the
thought it was going to be
Kintinue.
mental health shit for sure. And then, yeah.
Kind of. That's why I said the Swiss Army Man. The like vibes where you like learn stuff at the end. You're like, but it didn't disrupt this movie as much as Swiss Army Man's ending did. But man, it's like that movie was like, and I was thoroughly entertained because my the Jen who from Fierce Ferrets who did our logos, both our logos, messaged me the other day and told me to watch it, and I was like, it's only like 78 minutes long, so I was like, I could do this like real fast. So that was pretty.
Wait, you
I
mean
had
this one?
Yes, he's running around doing whatever Josh is doing with him, dude. My wife found out that like the new iOS also like she was like looking at my pictures from my photo shoot, and she was like,
Really?
I guess in the iOS, well, she took all the pictures. So,
I'm just kidding.
but like, if you click on someone, like you can like it can like it kind of acts like you're green screening, like you're like
Yeah.
yeah. And
Really?
she was making me teabag myself. She was like
Yeah.
dropping my face with my crotch onto my own head and laughing about it. And I'm like,
Okay, I love your wife so much now. She's the coolest person I've ever met. And like, yeah, I just high five to
and
her.
then screenshotted
She's
it
wait.
to show.
Let me see. There we go.
I'm like teabagging myself.
She's
And she
so
thought it was
awesome.
So most of my pictures from that first photo shoot, and it just reminds me now, Josh, I would make a face. She would take a picture, see the picture, laugh at me like I was like an idiot, and I would laugh at her laughing at me, and then that was the good picture we would get. So that was like the cycle we went down.
Yeah, but
Like,
that's
Cute.
honestly,
Yeah.
I was a photographer for a long time. Like did portrait shoots and stuff. And if you can, like, that's a thing. Especially, you're putting yourself out there, man. And kudos, like seriously, like this is. It's not an easy thing to put yourself out there, anyways. But to put your whole self out there, like it's courage. And no, man, like it. I swear, like it's awesome. And I definitely, yeah, I appreciate you, man. But that's the thing with the photography, man. Like I found you can catch people off guard or get them out of their head for half a second and kind of just like have a vibey moment and they
Yeah.
relax. Then you look better. smiling, more, like if you're like, oh, it's gonna come across in the pictures too,
Yeah.
right? So
It was the just being natural. And everyone said who's seen him was like, you look like you're having fun, which translates. So it's
hey,
out there.
if your
And it's-
wife is having fun with it too, that's all the better, right?
yeah,
I was watching a guy who recently, like, they've been doing OnlyFans and like spicy content for a long time. And he did one that like blew up recently. And everybody in the comments was like, what does your wife think about this? And he was like, well, she directs them, she shoots them. She's like, hey, if you drop just a little bit lower to where it's like almost like, make sure you're throwing your hand. Okay, let's try it again. And I was like,
I love it.
hell yeah. And they were like, but why would she be like that? And he's like, I bought her new boobs and we own our house. Like, I don't know what.
it was surprising, and I bet she would confirm this. She had more fun. I think both of us had more fun doing it than I thought. We both thought we were gonna have, and so it's also like we've been together fucking since 2006. It's like 16 and a half almost years, and it's
Nice.
like a long time. So it's like new stuff in like spice. Variety is the spice, and it's fucking true, man. As you get older, you go, I gotta do like doing the same things repeatedly is never fun. Like
My last name is Spicer, so there's
it's a Josh Spicer channel. It's old.
gotta
So if you're
spice
old
up your
and
life.
you're
You
young-
gotta spice
No,
up
I
your
just
life.
want to send you spices. I want to buy those
If you
bicep
want to be
and
Josh's
spice
mom,
bra
you
things.
gotta get with Josh's friends, making love.
I do have 2 daughters. They are the Spice Girls, so
They are.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's very cute. Okay. I think we can dive in to Pearl now because
really.
yes, really. Let me read the synopsis.
Just wait.
Josh, I'm
Wait,
gonna take that.
you're gonna what?
Fuck, I'm gonna take that.
I have so much power, Rod.
I'm gonna take that fucking string back away from you, Josh.
Oh,
break-
are
Break your
you?
little finger.
Are you?
Okay, Josh, I
Are
have
you?
another one for
Are-
you.
Okay. The synopsis of this film is very simple. It reads, the story of how Pearl became the vicious killer seen in X. Ty West.
I was trying to jail Pearl. Sorry.
God damn it, Josh. Josh, I swear because of your like.
Oh, I pushed the wrong button. And he's gone.
Listen, every time I do
fi-
this show,
I
I walk away
finally-
and my face hurts from smiling.
I broke Rod, and I love it. Dude, Rod, I'm just making up for last week. By the way, I'm just making up for last week. Don't be a dick, Rod. I'll get you back ×10.
Josh and I like gave each other noogies in that last week, and now Josh is like making me pay for it. And now Josh is making me pay for it. I have to say, first off, I want to. Martin Scorsese was talking about Pearl. I saw it today, and talking about how much he loved it, and I'm like, the man who like completely shit all over every superhero movie ever.
Marvel
Which,
movie,
yeah, I mean, he was really talking about superhero movies in general, right? And he was talking about how much he loved this movie.
Ty West had a fucking blast making this movie. The score, everything, like the period of it, and what he did to bring us to that period instead of like anything else was fucking. It was perfect. And
yeah, it didn't feel forced. Like a lot of movies that are set in earlier time frames, they always feel really forced, and this one didn't.
And which I mean, it wasn't a surprise after seeing X, right? And it felt very 70s and very like, that kind of like
with this being called Pearl, I felt like you really got to understand how that character was feeling and like what she was going through. Like it's like the biopic of this fictional character, but it really because we know her already because we've seen X. You just saw X. she's fucking mental still. And like, I don't know, like this movie, it spoke to me on so many different levels and was, I love the saturation. I love just the vibe of this whole movie, and the violence like was like super high, but felt
Beautiful. It
but
was
like
so pretty.
it fit in, and it didn't feel like
Yeah.
like I loved the beginning because that like little jump scare with the crow catches you off guard because it really is just taking on this like whimsical journey of meeting this character, and then it slowly gets crazier and crazier as it goes on, and it
Yeah. Well,
it ends with like one of the best like shots, long takes ever. Amazing
and the
monologue. Wow.
monologue at the end also.
The monologue had me in tears in the theater. Like I don't know if that's what the goal was, but I felt really awkward about how much I related to everything she was saying at one point, and I just started crying, and I was like, this is not how this is supposed to go.
It's the I mean, it's that whole thing where you have this character who obviously you're in, what was it, 1919, was it?
Like 1912.
No, it was after that because it was during World War One, and America didn't get involved until like maybe it was 1917.
Right.
But like this girl who obviously back when mental health wasn't like what it is today, and obviously we have a lot of things today, and no one is just like, oh, we're gonna keep this girl away from everyone so she doesn't like, like ruin the family's reputation or something like that. And it's that weird combination of that and the beginning of people wanting to be like celebrities, right? She's like, she's obsessed with the movies and wants to be a big time dancer and all that stuff. So there's a lot like the kind of remnant, like, translates to today, right? Like where people want to be internet. God damn it, Josh! Stop it! And it translates well to like what the world is like with all this stuff now, where it's like you're sitting there going, people want to be famous, but they also like have these like mental health things that they struggle with. But she just doesn't have anyone to help her. She has a mother who is like the mother from every serial killer thing ever, and a father who like is not able to help do anything, and like just a situation that's like not good for her, right? And it just escalates and bad shit happens, and then you jump 60 years in the future and you go, oh, okay, this is how you got there for X, right? So
I think the monologue too that really threw me off, because we were talking about mental health, was the fact that when I was listening to her, all I could think was, if I was in that situation, would that be me? Like, would that be what I would have happened to me? Like if mental health hadn't progressed from where it is, like obviously it still needs a ton of work, but like if it hadn't progressed from where it was, would that be me? And I think that, coupled with some of the other things that she said, really just hit me. And it was so beautiful. And I've read a whole bunch of reviews about the monologue, and everybody's like, it was great. It was fabulous. Yeah. I mean, like just her facial expressions and non-breaking, and just like even her saliva. I was like,
well, I saw like at the
beautiful.
beginning of the movie that she helped write it as well. So like it was Ty West, like, directed, wrote, and edited it, but she was a co-writer of it. And I felt like that monologue, I don't know how much she had to do with it or whatever, but like just how flawless it was. And you're used to seeing that type of length of monologue in something like a Quentin Tarantino movie, and to see it outside of that and done so well, one take, one shot the entire time, no edits. My God, was that like, it made it impactful and hit so much harder. And her ability to just like cry, and those tears that she can shed, and the amount of like emotion she put on film in this, and how loud and how like uncomfortable she made the entire audience feel, like when after the church and she's just sobbing, and I was just like, oh my God, it's so loud in the mix and so in your
loud.
face. Yeah, it was awesome though.
I mean,
It's really good.
just Josh, we're taking the buttons away from you. You just
I didn't hit the button. That's why, because when I hit the button, it turns it off. But when I go back to this scene and I haven't hit the button, it keeps it on, so it just automatically plays. So
just doing that in one take. Like, you ever think about sitting there going, how do you memorize all of that? Like, how many times did she have to sit there and just like repeat that over and over and over again? Like, that always like.
That's why I said, like, if she helped write it, then she would already be in that mindset and have known and probably like gone through that as well. That's what, like, it could have made it a little easier.
I wonder if there was a prompt behind it.
I wondered about that because at the table, like, you know, she's
On the
looking at the table
yeah.
a lot. So I kind of wondered because I was like, this is like one of the longest monologues I've heard in a long time. That's like, because I mean, when I did drama in middle and high school, like, you would have to audition with monologues, but I never did a monologue that long. But she's just so good.
Yeah, she does that, like, she does vulnerable and like just
creepy.
Like, yeah, well, it's
just her on stage too. She was like, and then just like straight away, like, oh my God. And I read something today that the last scene, that like really long take, what is on the poster here, was just like impromptu. Ty West was like, let's just try something, see what it is. And then they just did that. And he's like, cut, it's going in the film. We'll figure it out. Like, I love that shit. We
were talking about it, like, there's a post-credit scene for Maxine, Max with three X's, which is the third film in the trilogy. And I'm sitting there Googling on my phone and like seeing, you know, out of my peripheral that she's still staring at me. And I'm like, how fucking long is she like
so good?
It was so good, but it was so uncomfortable. And then I just was like, I'm just gonna record this and see how much longer.
Yeah, can't put it in the
totally not allowed, but yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the friggin' credits, right? But it's like
so long.
It's the best credits scene I've seen in a long time. And
there was a lot of talk online.
I waited and there was nothing, by the way. So the fact that there was something for you makes me it makes me so upset because I waited the entire time. People were getting up and walking out. I was like, no, there's going to be a trailer. And then there wasn't. What the fuck did I read? And what?
Oh, and then I looked online because while I was sitting there forever going through all the credits, I was like, okay, well, I wonder if there's something at the end. So I was like Googling it and nobody said anything. So eventually I was like, okay, well, nobody else is in here. It's kind of awkward. And I got up and it went black and I was like, all right. And turned around, and I told you guys this, but I turned around because I heard the VHS tape click and I was like, oh. So
see, ours went black, but it just stayed black.
Yeah, I guess your guy was like, it's done, get out, goodbye.
No, they're like, no, clean, healthy, like sane Canadians do not need to see this because it's got 3 X's in it, and that's just too much for us Canadians to see. It's too much. Too much.
You've already been exposed to some bush. You don't need anything else.
Goodness.
Dude, I have to say though, that fucking the porno that the projectionist guy shows her, I'm like, man, I wonder if they actually went down and tracked like old school, like, you know, porn from that period.
It wasn't called smut, it was called fuck. It was something that oh God, never mind. I'll remember it later.
Yeah, it was new. Like he said he had gotten it in France, right? And like I think of things like Inglourious Bastards and that lady who did all the, you know, the projectionist stuff in like World War II and like how the French view cinema and stuff like that. And I was like, huh, interesting, right? The other thing I think, I don't know if enough people are talking about with this film, because I maybe it's because it's mostly just people talking about Mia, right? Because she deserves it and she kills it. But her mother, Tandy Wright, does an awesome job for this film, and just like you're sitting there going, oh, you have this daughter Pearl, and this mother who's overbearing and it seems almost a little bit reasonable because you kind of go, oh, Pearl's been doing crazy shit her whole life. Like she talks about it during the movie. She goes, yeah, we see the shit you don't think we see you doing, and yeah, it is. So you kind of go, oh, she's just trying to. She's not as much as like Carrie's mom, right? Where Carrie's mom is just like psychotic. Like this woman's crazy.
She's at her breaking point. I mean, like she's had to take on this daughter that she knows is problematic, that she knows is going to end up doing something stupid or scary or dangerous. And then, like she mentions in her big scene, she's been left with this man that she's supposed to have as a partner and as a husband, but instead she's the mother of. And I can only imagine having, like, I understand her rage, honestly. Yeah. Like, I think that I know that, like, blasting it towards Pearl is not the way to handle it, but I understand why she did, because there's probably a lot of resentment built up towards Pearl too. And she mentioned that she had given up everything.
So. Yeah, mom was the fucking worst though. She was so terrible, and it doesn't justify what happened, but like, yeah, it's one of those things, right?
It's also a completely different time, right? Like her mom's from Germany, like speaks German for half the movie, has all this stuff. And,
we don't take charity.
Well, I mean, it's tough, man. And you see the sister-in-law who, when she shows up, like towards the end, and is like,
"Is that my pig? Is that our pig?"
That man, that first time you see that pig again, you're like, they just fucking left it there. Like they just left it there, and you're like, all right.
It's like when the guy comes and her priorities are like out of whack, and he starts seeing all the things, and then she freaks out because her mom warned her about people seeing through, like, into her craziness or whatever. Yeah, she walks past the mess and the this and then that, and goes straight up to like making out in front of her husband's portrait and stuff. It's like, what the hell?
Well, that and the like, doesn't she kiss him in front of her, or she just like wraps her arm around him, around,
and like leans into him.
And that man, like, it's funny because like the end 15-20 minutes of maybe half an hour of him being in the movie, like that dude is doing a lot of acting with his eyes. He's just like, you see the terror, and it starts all the way in the when she drops him in the fucking alligator pond, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, he did a really good job.
You know what it reminded me of, Josh? What was that movie called? The Innocent, with the little kids.
Oh my god, I fucking love that movie, dude. I thought about that movie for weeks after we saw it.
So there was that's what it was called, right? The Innocents.
The Innocents, yeah.
So it's a Norwegian movie, Ken, and like there's the main character is her older sister, I think it is like super autistic, and so there's a scene at the very beginning where she's like nonverbal autistic, and so she's like, they're in the car, and she just starts pinching her sister, like to see like if she gets any reaction. Totally. And it reminded me,
that scene in the bathtub. I went straight to that as well, and
and
I still don't know if that actress who played the lead is or isn't autistic. Because if she isn't, wow, like that is insanely good acting. Then
I mean, and if she is, like, she's still fucking killed.
Exactly.
Like, but man, his Matthew Sunderland played him, and like, for someone who like just has to look old and decrepit and like just has to, he doesn't even act with his eyes for like a lot of what he's in it, but like, man, he did a really, really good job of like, with that limited like amount of tools in his arsenal, because he didn't talk, he was just doing stuff with his eyes, like he couldn't move or anything. He was like, damn, this guy is, I mean, you literally have, like, on the IMDb, there's only 6 actors. Like, the projectionist, Pearl.
I think that's how he did it. Like, because you said, or did we read it? I don't remember. That he filmed them back to back, right? and it was during the pandemic, and that's probably why the pandemic got written into this, and maybe the time period they chose to go back to and stuff.
The Spanish flu,
flu. Like, in order to accomplish it at the same time and do what people weren't doing during 2020 season of the pandemic was to write scenes in wearing masks and stuff. So I don't know. It felt kind of like a pandemic movie, right? Like,
yeah. Well, the mask stuff, like they have all the masks, and like also there's a scene in this that I went that completely I go, oh, this you go this
it was the wrong button. That was an actual fucking accident that time. Just keep talking, Rod. Shut up. You shut up and talk.
You shut up and keep
You
talking.
shut up and talk to me.
You shut your whore mouth when you're talking to me. You shut your whore mouth.
Just keep talking.
No.
Keep it.
And nobody explodes.
The scene where she goes in to watch the movie, right? She's gone into town to pick up her dad's medicine, and she's like, "Oh, I get to go watch a movie." God damn it, Josh! And she gets down and sits down with her mask on because everyone's all masking up because of the Spanish influenza, right? And she takes her like it was
her dad's morphine.
Yeah, it just takes a big
just a swig.
I'm like, what?
Liquid morphine. I was like, that sounds intense.
Yeah, that sounds like you're gonna be real fucked up, you know. And then you're watching like women doing like tap dancing with crazy shit, and you go, oh, okay, this probably isn't, girl. This probably isn't helping your mental state. Like it really isn't. And oh man,
I'm on another level tonight.
I mean, you were joshing up your Josh. That's what you're doing. Man. I have like.
It's because the guest spot is right on the end by my thumb, so it happened. Yeah. I could switch it to that again if you want.
The projectionist, I was watching him like this is a good looking man. I
loved his look. I loved his hair. I loved his outfit, everything. I would totally rock that.
He looks so familiar, and I went through his IMDb and I was like, I don't remember him but he looks so familiar.
He looks like a mix between the Chris's.
Yeah.
I don't even think I didn't even make it far enough into House of Cards to see him. And then like anything else I've seen, I'm like, he kind of reminded me of I can't think of who he reminds me of someone.
He reminded me of Henry, what is his name? Superman.
Cavill?
Yeah, and like Chris Evans mixed into one person.
Yeah.
He's a good looking man though, and like with that weird little like 1917 mustache he's got, and he's just like
totally. I usually am not into mustaches, but his was like a perfect like shape and like weight for his face too. It just like it sat perfectly.
It's a little too close to a Hitler stash, but like it was like the you know the fashion of that like exact time, you know.
Yeah.
And he did a good job with that. And dude, it's funny how like you only have 6 actors in this, and they all just like take whatever opportunities they have, and they just do awesome work with it. And you know, it's funny. I saw someone comparing this to Looney Tunes or something like that, or like because of the.
I knew this was going to probably happen. Like the score being perfect for what it was supposed to be. It takes you on a journey, and it takes you to a completely different time and place, and it fits the time period, and it also brings me on a journey, and was amazing and super well done. But I knew that was going to be off-putting to a general audience and people that aren't like moviegoers or aren't like, you know, like us who watch everything and really enjoy the craft. Like I heard people behind me, what the fuck was that piece of shit movie we just watched and stuff. I was like, yeah, exactly. This isn't going to be for everyone, I guess, which it sucks because it's fucking fantastic.
it is unapologetically what it is. Like it's like we're gonna make a period piece. There's no modern music, like you're talking about. The score is just like very like of the era. You have insane people. You have like it doesn't like. And if you have no context from going into to if you didn't see X before this, you're like
Exactly. But
you
that same
don't know.
audience would fucking love Barbarian though, and that's where like it's offset by 1 week, and that same audience, if they went and saw Barbarian, would have fucking had a blast probably, just because it's modern.
It's I keep hearing it's funny with Barbarian. I keep hearing people comparing it to like is being as crazy as Malignant. And I'm like, I liked Barbarian a lot, but Malignant is one of the most batshit crazy like
Yeah,
horror movies I've ever seen.
it jumps the shark, but then gets away with it. Like
Yeah.
it runs with and is like riding the wave over the shark. It's like, no, fuck it. Well, let's just go with this. Like, woo!
It's like a does a Tony Hawk like 980 while like jumping the shark. And
Yeah.
so you're like, oh, it's jumping the shark with style, which is
Yeah.
why that movie is. I think I love that movie more than most people ever will. And
I
but
gotta
man,
rewatch it because it's super goofy, and I wasn't watching it through that lens before.
Yeah.
And the more I like, especially when I went back and redid, like going through the images to make that poster that I did, I started like remembering it and seeing it through kind of that different lens then, and I was like, fuck, I gotta rewatch this because I was just like, I wasn't in the right mood for that at that time.
and it's weird the first time. That movie is weird, and it is way more enjoyable, in my opinion, when you know the twist, and so you see things, and you're like, oh, okay, this makes sense, and then you like, dude, that fucking police station where he goes ham on everyone is.
I think half the budget went to that, like just
Yeah.
that whole sequence.
Well, yeah, when he goes crazy on all the women in the prison, and then just nuts. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about Malignant, Ken, but it is.
It was pretty good. I want to watch it again. The first time I watched it, I fell asleep at the end, but it was not because of the movie.
Yeah.
And then I watched the part I missed and was like, oh yeah, that was really good. But I would like to rewatch it.
Yeah,
So.
it's one of those movies, and I said this about Halloween Kills too, which I know Josh hates, but like it's there's a lot about.
I don't
both of
want to
them.
rewatch that.
Yeah, but a lot of those films, like both those films, I thought was like actually got a lot rewatching them. So
I love
it's funny.
Mike Myers as a character. I love Halloween as a franchise. I've met and like interviewed some of the Mike Myers and like PJ Souls from the original Halloween and stuff. And like I have like a lot of heart to that franchise, and to see there was
Yes,
there
I
was
know, I know.
there was stuff done
I know.
right, man. But fuck, stop it, stop it.
I hope
What
I hope
nice
you like-
nostalgia is just. That's how I felt watching it. Fuck. Oh. Okay, of course.
You know what? Another thing about Pearl that I really appreciated.
Yeah.
They recycled the weapon suite from the from X. Like
Yes.
they had the
I love that.
pitchfork,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
had the axe, they had the alligator.
They.
The alligator.
There was enough
that scene in
callbacks.
X.
Yeah.
The X on the stage.
Stage.
I know that was obviously like blatant for everyone to pick up on, but when she walked out and stepped out, I was like, "That's the X."
Yeah.
But I don't feel like any of it was like over the top or too in your face. Like, well, maybe that, but no, like it went with what was happening. Everyone was doing it, and it just like the emphasis was there for that one part. But like there was enough of the callbacks. If you, especially like Kin just watched it, and like it's like fresh in your head. I went and saw X by myself in theaters for the show because everyone was busy. I almost saw this one by myself in theaters because I had to like
Yeah.
put it on the other side of that like music awards thing. I was like, oh shit, because I was going to see it right at the same time. So it all ended up working out, and I like got there with a minute to spare. Grab some popcorn.
It's funny, and I think it's a movie where the main character is like got her mental issues that she's working through the whole time. And I think that it's funny that the scene that like really shows like her losing it more than anything is her dancing, because
like
she
instant
imagines
smiles.
well, that not even that, like
take it away.
I thought that whole scene, like her seeing the whole World War I scene behind her, like I pictured that was all in her imagination, and she's like seeing all this shit and going, like,
what about I'm married?
When her husband blows up, like randomly at the one point where like she sees him like come home and he just blows up.
Well, yeah, because she was like, that was her choosing.
The egg.
Yeah, I love that. It was so well done.
I have a question. So this kind of ties Pearl and X. It brings them together. Her husband in Pearl sticks with her, right? Like,
yeah. So like that, yeah. He has to obviously get over it. But I think there was a reference to him coming back from the war in X, wasn't there? I don't know. I'd have to rewatch it.
I think so.
He talked about going to World War I and II. He served in both of them, so she got left alone for another couple of years. And I think he talked about cleaning up after her in X. Like he's been cleaning up after, and like you get hints of it because the sister is like, he really loves you, and then when he comes back to the fucking they're like, hey, we're gonna one up Psycho here. Give me a second. And you come back and there's the fucking mother and father just dead at the table with the pig that's been there for how God knows how long. Also, and I just realized as I'm talking about all this shit, so she fucking saw her husband walking down the road, and when she was coming home with the projectionist guy, right? Because
was it him? Because wasn't that a different day?
It was.
And
it's yeah. Like I think she felt guilty. I think she felt guilty for banging this projectionist guy or something.
But he saw her too, or saw him. He's like,
yeah,
you know
the
that?
projectionist guy did see him, but he wasn't. But that wasn't her husband.
No, it was just
because
someone in
it was
the mask.
like a few days later.
It was
or
to
whatever.
talk about the masks too, right? So
I don't know. I don't know if he did, because he goes, "What was that?" Like, because I think he saw her looking. I think was what I don't know. Maybe I think
no. He said, "Did you know him?"
Maybe she said maybe though, right? Like she was like maybe.
Did you just hit your mic? Because you just cut out.
I think I said yeah. That was my bad. I hit the cord.
Jeez.
I'm a fidgety.
Nope.
Sit here and cry. Because Josh bullied me today. Yeah, that's me. That's me. Cuckoo.
It's the glasses. I'm a different persona today.
Like, instead of like Clark Kent becoming Superman, you're like Super Dick when you put the super glasses.
I look like Clark Kent with these glasses on.
Canadian
it's Super Dick and Clown Dick.
Justice Dick League. I don't know. I did wonder, why did she, when she smothered her father with a pillowcase, why didn't she just smother him with the pillow? Did you wonder that too, or is that just my crazy ass?
I kind of wondered that too, but I'm guessing there's a reason.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Probably because you could wash the pillowcase, but not like...
She wasn't going to wash it. She didn't even clean up the table. Like, how long until her husband got home? Seriously.
That had to be a hot second. It reminded me of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like,
yes, 2.
In a lot of regards. Yeah, 2.
Yeah.
My favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
I have the original poster.
It's a dark comedy.
The original theatrical poster is right over there, and I
love it.
Good.
Can you imagine how badly that fucking living room fucking stunk? Like, and you're like,
it stunk so bad that it made her go.
It made me think though of the sex scene. God damn it, Josh! Stop it! The sex scene in you know there's audio format too, Josh. Like it's not just video. You motherfucker.
So, who gives a shit, Rod? Who gives a shit, Rod?
What I was
Do
gonna
you?
say, no, the sex scene in X, it just made me go think of, man, these two are like, it's like bonkers, all the insane shit they went through together, right? Like he comes home and like obviously he ends up being almost as much of a problem as Pearl because he enables her.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he only killed one person, right? Because he shot. Didn't he shoot someone in X? Or was that her? No, he shot the black guy.
Yeah, he shot. Oh gosh, I just watched it last night or the night before last.
It was Kid Cudi, I think. I think he shot him in the swamp or whatever. And it's like, and you go, oh, that might just be racism in the 70s and with someone who's been around as much. But like, yeah, it's like, okay, this guy has gone. Oh, these two have gone through a lot, and I sit there and go, this. I think the one of the biggest things of like, oh, this lady really doesn't give a shit is when she drove the car into the lake, and it's just like ass of it is just sticking out, and you see that next. There's like, there are more than one car that are just like sitting.
Ben and I were sitting there, and he's like, "Was that the car they found in X?" And I was like, "No, didn't they find like a shit ton of cars? Like this has been her like thing she's done forever, right?" So.
Yeah. Well, you go. He talks the way he talks about it. Howard talks about it in the second one. You're like, oh yeah. I mean, it makes sense. They've been doing this forever, but like, it's that thing where in. Going back to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but like you know the scenery of the house, like in this and X, they use the same house, and so you're like, I kept thinking of that last scene of X where she just gets shotgunned through the door, like she's like in the doorway and they shoots her and she just goes, just like flies. And I was telling Josh when we talked about X, that house even reminds me of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like it's got that long hallway, that goes in, and that like you're like, oh, when you're looking down this hallway,
there'll be a door.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she also he mentioned that a lot of his stuff he pulled from older movies, and there's the scene where she's standing in the barn and she's got like the pitchfork over her head, and all I could think of was Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Leatherface in the road dancing with the chainsaw.
Yeah,
and it's so good.
Ty West reminds me a lot of Quentin Tarantino and like how he like pays homage to shit. Like if you go watch The House of the Devil, which it's a 70s like satanic.
Well done. Like period wise, like it just looks like it legitimately was created in that time period.
Yeah, that and Innkeepers, man, like it's like the old ghost story like movies and all that, and it's like
whatever happened to her? Like the main actress in that movie, she was in a bunch like right at that time period, and then she's not in anything anymore. And I thought she was great in that like shark movie that's like Lake Placid with sharks. She was in that as well, and I was like, oh. This is like the new Scream Queen, and then she just disappeared.
I mean, it's funny because Sarah Paxton was in that, and
right?
She did a lot. I mean, she was in the Last House on the Left remake too.
Yeah, like she was. I was really into what she was doing in the movies that she was, being cast in, and
she was in Barbarian.
Yeah, no, but she was only like, she was like on the TV as like a newscaster or.
I haven't seen it yet, but it just popped up.
Someone's
and I was like,
voice for like 2 seconds of the movie.
Yeah.
Was she the one that was in like one of the I think she was. My wife loves, where is it? I'm looking for it. Those Halloween Town movies. I think she did one.
I love those. Those are nostalgic.
She was in like she replaced the chick from, I don't know, maybe she didn't, but I don't know. She's like, she did a lot back in the, well, it's funny because we have Return to Halloween Town. She was in that. Well, it's like all these movies, like we're talking about this and X and right, and we link up. Mia Goth is in both of these, and then X had Vanessa Hutchins in it, and so she was in Scream this year and X, and you're sitting there going, man, you had all these actresses just killing multiple horror movies in like at a time, and you go, man, it is these actors and actors, I guess all actors are actors now, right? They continue to do horror at this high of a level. It's just like, damn, we're gonna get some good shit with these, available actors who are just killing it, man. And it's Vanessa Hutchins. Obviously, she's in the next Scream again, and you go, man, like there's a good hope because there's a lot of fucking really talented actresses doing horror right now. I mean, isn't it Vanessa Hutchins?
Or are you talking about Jenna?
Hutchins is in everything now.
Maybe I'm talking about her. The other.
She's doing Wednesday.
Yeah.
Which is going to be really good.
Yeah, that's not. Sorry. Don't be yelling at me. You guys yell at me. Why am I thinking of him? I mean,
whoa, your mic is all fucked now. We can't even hear Rod. He's bumped his mic, and I can't even hear him now.
Oh, God, just a second. Okay, there you go. I don't know what the fuck happened. Yeah, Jenna Ortega is what I'm really was referring to. But yeah, she's been doing all this stuff, right? And it's so yeah. But man, it's there's been a lot of, like we talked about Barbarian last week, Josh, like which is another really small horror movie, right? Like it would like that movie had more of a budget. Obviously, it cost like about 10 times what this did. That cost like 10 million. This cost like $1 million. But
it had like bigger names in it too, right? Like this, like other than I guess Mia Goth is bigger now, right? Like is she married to Shia LaBeouf or something, or were they dating?
I know they were dating. I don't know if they're still together.
She's been in. Well, she was in like Nymphomaniacs, right? And
which I really want to see. I haven't seen that yet. Is that any good?
I haven't seen it, and it's 2 parts too. So
yeah. It always those movies like it seemed to get the same kind of like attention as the Antichrist movie, where it was like
Lars von Trier is just doing stuff to be shock guy now. Like he's like, oh, I'm known for shock, so I'm just gonna do fucking shock shit. There we go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make us like IMDb. She did. I mean, she was also in Suspiria, which
man, I never saw it.
I love the original. The original
Everyone
Suspiria
says that. Yeah,
fucking awesome. An hour and a half, but really, really good. I went to put on the Amazon version, and when they said 2.5 hours, I'm like, whenever that day was, like, nope, 2.5 hours ain't gonna happen today, because I just watched the original, and I'm like, fuck. And I think
did they make it more artsy or something? Like, what are they trying to do with extra hour?
I don't know, man. I don't know, but they added an hour to it, and I'm just like, yeah. I started watching like a little bit of the Geely movie? What the fuck is they called? The Italian horror movies from that period. And I saw Suspiria, and I forget what the other one I watched was. And they're real interesting. They're all like the thing that always throws me off about those movies, and I think it has something to do with the time period. That real like that blood color that they used a lot in those movies always threw me off. Where it's like it doesn't look like blood to me. It looks like red ink or something like that. Like
he did that.
Isn't
it
Giallo?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
There was like a scene in Pearl where the blood flies off. I think it was onto the projectionist guy, and the color is different. It's like substantially different than any other part in the movie. Yeah. I don't know if that was intentional, but it definitely was more of like a pinkish tone. Yeah. I guess it was very interesting.
I don't think Ty West does anything in one of these movies like unintentionally. So yeah,
right.
He probably did that. Like I'm assuming he did. Yeah, she was in Nymphomaniac Volume 2. We're talking about Mia. So Mia Goth. But yeah,
Mia.
Why are you like a gangster from the 30s now, Josh?
Mia. Mia. Next up on the X, Mia Pearl.
Josh, have you had too much sugar today? I think you've had too much sugar today, Josh.
Mia.
But man, I'm excited to see what they do with Maxine because man, like there's so much in this film for like how like little it is, but like how like
Maxine.
you're driving me crazy today, guys.
All I have to do is talk, and Rod fucking can't handle it. He cannot handle it.
I can, Josh, but you're just being a lot tonight. In a
Maxine!
Good way. Also,
Rod Johnston!
Mia was in A Cure for Wellness, which that movie gets talked about on like weird lists all the time because it flopped so badly in the theater.
Yeah, it was
it was not good. Yeah, exactly.
It was a fart.
It was a fart. What else is there like you guys like think about this film that like stood out to you? Like, because obviously you just watched both of these, Ken. Is there like anything that like we haven't run across that like you're like that really stood out for this? I mean, we talked about the monologue, obviously, which is such a cool thing. We talked about the end credits thing, which is extremely creepy that they did that as well as they did.
It's
but like
perfect. I felt like it was the perfect bookend to the movie, like for meeting the character and then really meeting the character at the end. It's like that was everything.
Well, I think there was a lot of like during the scenes where she's just like murdering the heck out of people, and there's like all these, splices together. That was really cool. And when I was watching X and they do the overhead view of the alligator or crocodile, whatever, following her while she was swimming. And then it, obviously it's in Pearl. I was like, oh, that's really cool.
I had to wonder if it was the same alligator or whatever. Like if it hadn't been like, because this is in like Texas, right? But I don't know how long alligators live. And obviously they showed the eggs because she crushed it.
A long time.
I figured they're basically fucking dinosaurs, right? Like they've been around like 100 fucking million years or some shit like that.
30 to 50 years, so it may have been like a child or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why they showed those eggs, right? Like they
yeah.
So we're like what, 60 years and 60-ish, 70-ish years? No, 60-ish years in the future for X, right? But like that was like it's one of those things where like I hear that in watching X again after watching this movie enhances it, and it makes sense. Even though like the first time you watch X, like I still say you go into X with like the less knowledge you know about that film, the better, because like I didn't know who the fuck was killing people in that. I didn't know it was a crazy old lady, like had no context, which was why it was so good. You're like, oh no, oh no. And this movie doesn't have as much shock as that one, but like you were also on, like you were going into this going kind of tense because you know what this lady turns into, right? You know that she's like fucking nutso. And it was so funny when Josh and I talked about X, like IMDb didn't even say at that time that Mia Goth was Pearl, right? You had no idea. We didn't know who Pearl was in that film, and so like she was Mia Goth, whatever the actress character's name, and then also Pearl at the same time, and you're like, and then you figure it out, you're like, oh damn, that's fucking dope, right? Like she did like both.
I didn't know. I did not know, and it was so good.
Yeah, I had no clue because the makeup. I was wondering during that, like, did I assume that Alistair Sewell, I think is his name, played Howard in the in Pearl also. They just gave him old age makeup and whatever. Let's see. Is he credited on? No. No, that wasn't him. I wonder if they just had an old guy play him in.
It's a different guy in X because I was looking at that too.
Yeah, you had to wonder because of her, right? Like because of Mia. You're like, is this? Yeah. So let's see who's Howard in.
It's Stephen Ure.
Eeyore!
That one.
They also old aged him up, but like not that bad. Like they didn't make it like it wasn't like Mia Goth aged up, right? So
Right.
Rod, I can't see you. You're so off to the left still.
I'm sorry, I was leaning and
You just got to move your camera like this. There you
I'll
go.
turn it a little bit next week. Here.
Yes. Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
It takes me a long time to like and I forgot this water was here and I've had it here since
See, now
we
you can
started.
see it.
And you can see
Oh my
Grogu's ear on the side. Grogu's ear is just hanging out. Oh man.
I think I've successfully made this episode fucking amazing, Rod. That's all I can say.
That's all you've done, Josh. You make every episode amazing, Josh. You and your beautiful face. And obviously, Kin coming in and killing it as always as she does.
Always.
Thank you for having me back. I really enjoy getting to come and hang out with you guys. So whenever I realized it wasn't X and it was Pearl, I was like, I want to go. And I was like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I can make it happen. I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna do it, and it'll be done. It'll be home by 7, and I can eat dinner, and then I'll be there.
I'm so glad that I put my poster in the Discord when I did.
Josh,
Oh no!
I'm so glad.
You freezing up.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no!
Rod,
Oh,
yeah,
no.
no, you're good. Yeah.
No,
That's
I'm
why-
so
that's
glad
like-
I put the poster in the Discord because if I didn't, she would have thought we were seeing X.
It would have been really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would have been like, what?
Oh no, we already talked about that one. No, that's why I was trying to make it was clear. It was like, but you know how all of us are. We're like half reading things with our fucking super ADHD. We're like, what?
Or
X,
just not
okay.
even, or like last week, just being like, oh yeah, let's meet today, but then not say a time, and then both think it's different times, and then do an
Yeah.
X to each other.
Me and Josh. You missed our Rod and Josh fight club last week. Josh and I were like, we're not gonna do it this week.
Yeah, I was
And
just
then we
like,
did.
I'll just skip. I don't fucking care. You're gonna act like that? Go fuck yourself, Rod. Fuck.
Oh, oh, sorry, Josh.
What is he?
I was thinking the boot sound that Josh has on his face. And Josh is doing. What are you doing over there, Josh?
That's what I'm saying.
This is my Manfrotto little tripod thing for my camera.
God, I keep getting surprised at how badly we could go off the rails because it impresses me, Josh, to no end. Yeah, Ken, we always love having you. That's why, like, we were talking about it. Like, Ken and I were talking about it earlier about like.
This show's gone to hell, and I love it.
Makes me think of Sky Dancers, Josh. You remember those? Like, the little- Sorry.
those are
Okay,
fun.
we were talking about something earlier.
I was just saying we were talking about like all the shit that we have upcoming to talk about, and we're gonna have to have Ken back to talk about Hellraiser. I think maybe the next one because
I've never seen any Hellraiser movies.
dude, the original is
I've met the guy, and I've never seen any of them either.
you've never seen it.
I've
Dude,
never
okay,
seen a single one.
Oh my god,
And
I feel so
see,
much
look,
better
right
about
there.
myself.
That's a signed picture from him, and I've never seen a single one.
Doug something. Doug's something is his name. The guy who played Pinhead.
Terrible. I feel terrible.
No,
It's not Doug Jones, right? Though.
no,
Let me check.
it's-
No. I love Doug Jones. He's
yeah, he's the guy who played
wonderful.
in all the Guillermo del Toro movies.
It's
He
Doug
played-
Bradley.
Doug Bradley. There you go. First one's an amazing film, and I saw somebody talking about it on Twitter today because they're all talking about it for the remake coming out, and it was like they were joking around when they were making the original Hellraiser. They're like, we're gonna rename this "What a Woman Will Do to Come" because
Look at this.
Okay. God, I swear to God. What? Okay, this is what we're gonna do. When Hellraiser comes out, you're coming on, Kin, and you two are gonna watch the original first, and then this one because it comparatively, it's yeah. I even like Hellraiser 2, and then they go off the rails real bad because
it turns into like what all the franchises kind of did, like.
No, Hellraiser is
lose the
Action
rights.
in space.
The only thing that is even
I
comparable,
love Jason X.
The only thing that's even comparable is like maybe Texas Chainsaw with like the quality, and I don't even think that. I think Hellraiser is literally the worst series if you like average out
Okay.
how badly, because all the films were like
What about the Leprechaun series?
not even close. Because Leprechaun 1 is pretty entertaining, and then Leprechaun in the Hood was
Leprechaun in the Hood is fucking amazing.
I never made it through Leprechaun in Space because they started showing CG things, and I'm like, ships, and I'm like, nope, can't do it, cannot do it.
It's so funny though.
Also, the only thing is like Scott Derrickson directed a Hellraiser movie, and I guess like is getting like people are going back and like giving it a chance again because obviously it was one of the only ones. I think the first 3 were like theaters, and then it was like 10 direct to DVD films. But yeah, it was, the first one was real good. It was like one of the, I think Clive Barker's like first movie directed. It's like BDSM, like it's wonderful. The first one's wonderful. The second one's mostly good, but then it goes completely batshit off the rails, and I think a lot of it's because of, you know how Monty Python and the Search of the Holy Grail goes just nuts at the end because of the because of the budget. It's the same thing. The budget went nuts, and the other thing that I'm happy about there being a new Hellraiser movie is I keep getting to see the video, the GIF of the Chihuahua dressed up like Pinhead. I don't know if you've seen it. Like people are like posting it all over Twitter again, and it's a little Chihuahua dressed up like Pinhead, and it's the cutest shit in the fucking world. And so
You got to do that to some dog that I know that you know.
Man, I don't know. Gizmo might be a Cenobite, but both of you watch Hellraiser. It's fucking dope. It's one of the
do it.
It's really a classic for a reason. So, yeah. So you're coming back for Hellraiser. I think that is. Let's see. I'm gonna look it up now because
Wait, is that a direct to like Peacock
Hulu
type shit?
Straight to Hulu.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
So
And
straight to.
And it's well, another thing too. Another reason why I love this, Kin. It's a Pinhead is now a woman in the new one. So.
Oh, interesting.
They got a female Pinhead in this one. What are you doing, Josh? And directed by David Buckner, which is...
I'm just breaking the show, Rod. Don't you worry. Hey, say hi. Say hi, Rod.
Hi.
Hi, Rod.
It's David Buckner who did Night House, Josh.
Oh, there was... I put in a couple movies from those same people that we got to check out too, because they have like a shit ton on Netflix too. So
Dude,
and
Ritual's fucking dope,
and they look fucking great too. So yeah, there's a bunch. I don't think I've seen it.
dude. The Ritual is fucking awesome.
That sounds familiar.
The guys who go out into the woods for a hike.
Oh no, I haven't seen it, and that was one that I put on the list because I went and looked it up and was like, why the fuck haven't I seen this? This looks fucking crazy, and I've heard it's dope
And
from everybody.
Awesome. It's got awesome monster design.
Fuck, let's see it.
We'll put it on the list. I mean, we got
I feel like I've seen it, but
That's Netflix too? Like what?
yeah. I think Netflix just put it out over here at least. It's an English horror film. Everyone in it is super English.
Dude, I
So-
want to see it.
Josh, you don't Well, what is here? Let me see. Hellraiser 2022 release. I wanted to see the release date because then we maybe have time.
Oh.
October 4th. So no, the October 4th is
We got
maybe
new movies. Then we got The Fly. Then we got Smile. Then we got new movie, and then probably new movie. But hey, whatever.
Yeah.
Once it gets into the Christmas season, actually, is there?
dude. The fucking I don't know. You guys seen the fucking
Yes, I
trailers?
have.
The guy or the poster. The guy from
The poster.
Hellboy is playing in a new
And Stranger
horror-
Things.
Yeah, David. What's his name?
But
Harbor?
Yeah.
it looks like it's an action movie and not a horror movie though. So it looked like a ripoff of like Silent Night, or Deadly Night, but it's
Yeah.
not.
So we'll figure all this out. We might have not next week, the week after, because it comes out. Hellraiser comes out on a Tuesday, so I don't think we're gonna be able to do it that week. So maybe we do the ritual to get prepared. And I don't know.
Violent Night.
Yeah, the poster looks dope. So
Yeah, it looks really
Except
cool.
for the font choice. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
You could do better with your fonts. Font!
still better than
Get
comics.
your fonts together.
Like, look, I threw this together on a laptop laying down like this. And that's my font. Come on, fonts!
Guys, do you think Josh cares about fonts? I don't know. It
It's
seems
my
like he-
fucking life!
I know, Josh. It was it's called sarcasm. Okay.
Fonts!
Next week we are doing The Fly with Katie Peters is returning, and then
Woo!
come back and do something. So, Ken, you want to pimp your site? Where are you again? As usual, just say where you just tell everyone where you're at.
Sure. I am on twitch.tv/continue, KINTINUE, 6 days a week. I start at 7 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, and then Sundays or whatever they are. I'm also on Twitter as Continue. Instagram is official Continue. TikTok is Continue. Just look up Continue. I'm there somewhere. Continue.com, whatever. Yeah.
Check Continue out. Her
Yes!
stream's always fun. She has an awesome community, and it's always a good time. So check it out.
It's
she doesn't
always
scream-
sunny and continue streaming.
I also currently own the domain stdhotel.com. So if you ever get bored, it's there.
Hey, that's
Just
not
saying.
work friendly.
Hotel.com. Let's see.
You may have to put the www in the front.
Oh, didn't have to. Didn't
Yep,
have to.
cool.
Go straight there. It's funny because so this is what happens. I go to work, or like when I have to go into the office, I'm always watching you when I'm getting ready and stuff. And so it's always I come home to the don't die, like at the end of the day. I'm like, don't die, they continue everything. But yeah. Okay, Murder Moose. We are murdermoose.com. We are on all platforms, audio platforms, I think. If we're not, yell at me and I'll fix it. We're on YouTube. You have to search for Murder Moose Podcast because we don't have 100 subs yet, so we don't have our URL. But
Hey,
Yeah.
if you are listening and you're not watching, you're missing half of Rod's disappointment in me. So you have to go and check us out on YouTube because Rod was showing pictures and it's his beautiful face and I get to teabag him all the time. So
he does. Yes. Give us a subscription on YouTube. Also, give us a 5-star review wherever you're listening, the Spotify, all those things. JoshWRB.com, where Josh puts his penis pictures. His poster pictures. And we have Rod_Johnston on Twitter, Twitch, all those things. My Instagram is something I think it's Rod_Johnston also.
I'm
My
pointing
only
at
thing-
stuff.
My OnlyFans is Rod is here, so you can go look for that too. Giggity. But that is all, guys. Ken, thank you again. Thank you for running around and going to see this movie all of a sudden. Like, I was very happy when you did it. So
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
always welcome. You're like a third chair here, Kin. So you're like part of the crew. So
Yay.
okay, until next time. Next week is The Fly with the Katie Peters. So thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for coming back, Kin. And we'll catch everyone next week. So
Bye.
Josh, I love you.
I love you, Big Brother.
Okay, let's start.